Jesus Christ, Buckley. What? What did you get up to last night?
Why do you ask?
Well, 'cause that bruise looks fresh.
Well, I think you can guess what I was up to then.
Have you been seeing someone?
What?
Are you seeing someone, or have you reverted back to your Buck 1.0 days? Because if I tell you that I've been seeing someone, is that going to result in more or less questions? Less concern, more questions. I'm not answering any of your questions. You're not?
It wasn't a random person I picked up. I'm just not ready to talk about them yet.
Okay. Does Maddie know about them?
Sort of.
And she didn't tell me?
Chimney, I'm not ready for the 118 to know, and you're terrible at keeping secrets.
I guess that's fair.
Could you not have warned me? I forgot. Honestly.
You forgot you bit me hard enough to leave a bruise?
I thought you would have noticed. I mean, also, it's not the only place, Buck.
I hate you.
I'll cover you next time we're changing.
When was the last time you got a good night's sleep?
I don't know. A little while, I guess.
Wait. What was he holding?
Okay. It looks exactly like a Timbit box. Do they? Where would you get a box like that in the States? I'm genuinely asking, because I've never seen that before. I've only seen a box like that with Timbits. And this was shot in Vancouver, so it could have just been a Timbit box.
When was the last time you got a good night's sleep?
I don't know. A little while, I guess. Not a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
None of them sleep in this show. When's the last time you got a good night's sleep? No, you guys never sleep. You were up at 3. It's 5:45. Also, canonically Dean says I need at least 4 hours. The bar's on the floor. You guys don't get good sleep. You just don't. And I'm saying this as someone who never gets good sleep. Okay, I was up till 4 and I woke up at 7. That was today. I was up till 6 yesterday. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying, like, you guys don't get good sleep ever.
By the way, for clarity's sake, because I've now brought up my gender fluid video, there is a bit of confusion about all of that. So, the gender fluid video that I made in 2020, that is my most viewed video to this day, that was part of my Explain series that I was doing at the time, where I talked about different queer identities and explained what they were through a hypothetical conversation, okay? This made a lot of people very confused, because I would say that I identified as all these different terms, and people were like, how does this work? What do you mean you're this, this, and this? And I was like, I'm not. This is a hypothetical. I'm not saying I identified this way. This is just a form of explaining these terms. I bring this up specifically because, yes, I do identify as gender fluid, but at the time that I made that video, I didn't. I knew that I wasn't cis at the time, but I didn't know what label to go by, and it wasn't until after I graduated high school that I figured out what label suited me best, and I didn't start openly identifying as gender fluid until 2023, I'm pretty sure. And part of that was as a result of the response I got from that video, but that's neither here nor there. The point of me saying this, though, is one of the things I talk about in that video is the wearing color-coded bracelets to express what pronouns to refer to me as. That is not a thing that I do. I got that idea from a fan fiction. So it is a way to express what pronouns you want to go by. I just don't do it because overall, I feel comfortable being referred to as they, them pronouns. And if I feel like being referred to with any other pronouns, I will just tell you. So feel free to use the color-coded bracelets thing or any other variation of wearing something to convey what pronouns if it makes it easier for you to continue to identify as gender fluid and feel most comfortable expressing to people how you want to be referred to as. By all means, use this but for me, the way that I experience gender fluidity, it doesn't make sense to do this, because it has less to do with my pronouns consistently changing and more to do with how I want to be perceived and how I wish to present. So overall, the safest bet when referring to me specifically is going to be gender neutral terms and they them pronouns. And overall, especially on the internet, I want to be perceived as more from a neutral stance, not a feminine or masculine way, because even if I feel like I want to be perceived and referred to as with more masculine pronouns and terms, there is no way to communicate that is going to get out to everybody at the exact right time. So people who know me in real life, if there's a day where you are interacting with me and I feel more comfortable being referred to with masculine terms or feminine terms, I'll just outright tell you. But that is, again, for people I know well, people I interact with consistently, and yeah, overall, people where it's going to be, and situations where it is relevant. Overall, I think it isn't super relevant on my TikTok, and I would just rather people refer to me with neutral terms and pronouns. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. Because, yeah, no, I understand why people are like, oh, so this is how you experience gender fluidity, and this is how you express that. No. It is a way that some people do. And again, I got parts of the ideas of how people expressed gender fluidity at the time from reading fan fiction by gender fluid people who wrote characters as being gender fluid and taking from that experience, because again, it was based on actual lived experiences. And that was my main introduction and understanding of what it meant to be gender fluid. However, I have since come to the conclusion that I do identify as gender fluid. However, I experience and express it differently. What's on your mind, Maddie? It's just Buck. He's still crashing with you? Not anymore. But... So wait, he's actually sleeping in Eddie's house? Yeah. After he slept with Tommy. What? Uh-huh. So what are they? They're not back together, are they? No, thankfully not. Oh? Was just what? A lapse in judgment? An attempt at distracting himself. Distracting himself? From what? Eddie being gone. Okay. His words? Yes, actually. He admitted he used Tommy as a distraction? For missing Eddie? He did. Well, that's progress. Uh-oh. What else happened? What happened, Maddie? I guess Tommy told Buck that he was in love with Eddie. Wait, what? Well, not in so many words, but he told Buck he viewed Eddie as competition when they were together. Are you for real? Yeah. So how'd Buck react? He got pretty upset. He was upset that Tommy thought he was in love with him? Yeah, and he was upset that Tommy was glad that Eddie left? He was glad Eddie left? Okay, Buck being in love with him or not, that's his best friend. What a dick move. Uh-huh. Yeah, Buck still thinks he should call Tommy to apologize. He doesn't. I mean, he said some mean things too, but I mean... Seriously? Do you think Buck's in love with Eddie? Do you? I could see it. Me too. Did you ask Buck if he was? I tried. Uh-huh. I mean, he denied it. The way he did was definitely interesting, though. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm worried about him. I mean, he could do worse. Yeah, but he also seems to think Eddie is straight. He does? For real? I don't know. Oh, Bach. My friends and my partner must really love me because I really just send them edits of Eddie Diaz and with just a message underneath saying my baby girl. Like frequently. It's mostly Jasper, my partner, for anyone who is not aware, who just gets, edits of Eddie Diaz and just a comment underneath of me saying my baby girl or my Pookie. He's just my little guy. I'm a lesbian. But he's my baby girl and my little guy. He's like 6 feet tall, a former combat medic with a silver star and a firefighter, but he's my baby girl. The longer I spend in fandom spaces, the more frequently I call these like very like masculine men baby girl, and it's just I do it because it's funny, but I also do it because I'm like, I literally love them so much that I cannot contain how much I love them. And yet my insanity over Eddie Diaz and Evan Buckley have not reached Bucky Barnes and Castiel level for me yet. Because I have a tattoo for Bucky Barnes that I got literally 3 months into hyperfixating on Bucky Barnes. And while I don't have it yet, I have been planning on getting my cast tattoo since I was 16. I fear the day that I want to get some sort of tattoo for Buck, Eddie, or Buddy as a whole. I told my partner the other day that I might end up getting a Buddy tattoo, depending on what happens in the show. And I'm still gonna wait a couple years to see what the fuck the show does before doing that. But it might happen. I will reiterate, 3 months into hyperfixating on Bucky. Bucky is also my baby girl. He's a World War II veteran and a former brainwashed assassin. But he's baby girl. I need to touch grass. I have intentionally made plans to interact with humans outside of my job in the last couple days. Because I genuinely need to touch grass. Outside of my job, my partner, and my family. Because I did spend some time with my partner and their family. Anyway, this video has no point. Oh my god. So, new 911 is out. That's my priority right now, obviously. But I worked until 9, and I have normally a 30-minute drive home. And it also snowed today, because of course it did. And so I was like, well, shit, I'm not gonna get home until like 10 p.m. And then I also had to get gas. So, had to wait for my windshield to thaw, had to get gas, and now I'm on the highway. Why am I recording on the highway? Because we're in almost standstill traffic. And I checked Google Maps for this, there's a 29-minute delay in my drive home because of crashes. It's going to take me an hour to get home. I have to eat and do my makeup and set up my recording stuff to watch the new 911. I have all my notifications on Do Not Disturb, so I don't get any spoilers. So I'm gonna be up until 1 a.m. at least, because I don't want to get any spoilers for the Gay Firefighter show, and I don't want to wait longer than I have to watch the show. Literally my entire shift, my entire 8-hour shift, I was telling everybody how excited I was to go home and watch the Gay Firefighters. Now here I am. So yeah, you guys don't tell me what happened in the episode. I know we get our baby girl Eddie Diaz back, but apparently the universe doesn't want me to see him. They think I haven't waited long enough. It was literally a week. No, I gotta be in a 29-minute long traffic delay at 9:40 p.m. on a Thursday because of the goddamn snow. Don't live in Alberta. Don't live anywhere in the prairies, because Saskatchewan's feeling the same shit. Oh my god, this is so bad. Jesus Christ. I'm sure there's plenty of reasons. I think the main reason, though, that people thought that Eddie was older than Buck is because Ryan Guzman is older than Oliver Stark. Which I recently found this out, because Oliver is 33 and Ryan is 37. So, that's probably why. I imagine that, along with the fact that Eddie did the 2 tours, and the fact that he's a dad, that makes, and also the line in his first episode, "You're not his elder, Buck," made people assume that he was older. And I think that overall 911 is operated under the assumption that Buck is younger than Eddie, but they're around the same age. But no one actually knows how old Buck or Eddie are. No one knows how old Eddie is specifically. We know that Buck is around 33, because in season 6, they said he was 30, and in season 1, they said he was 26. So he is probably around the same age as Oliver Stark, because, again, those ages mirror how old Oliver Stark was, and also, kind of add up with the overall timeline in a way. The timeline doesn't make a lot of sense, but, to an extent, it lines up. But they've never actually said how old Eddie is. They haven't said how old almost anyone is, other than Chris and Buck. Yeah. And we know Bobby's in his 50s, which is a fact that's addressed in season 1 and 2, and then pretty much never again. Yeah, so overall, I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why people are like, oh my, are so passionate about Eddie being older than Buck. I don't think it actually matters that much, but I think overall people have assumed for the last, several years that Eddie probably is, because Ryan is older than Oliver, but the show's kind of contradicted that a bit with just saying, dates of, I think it was the year Shannon was born, being after the year Buck was born or something. Which isn't, fully clear when that was either way. And then Shannon and Eddie are supposed to be about the same age. But again, like I said, anything to do with any dates in the show, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Because, it just doesn't make sense. No one knows what's happening. No one knows how much time has passed. No one knows what year it is. No one knows how old anyone is. But, because there isn't an explicit confirmation of whether it's Buck or Eddie who's older, there are people who have opinions on why they think it should be a certain way. I thought the general consensus was that Eddie was older. I don't know where I got that from necessarily. I thought that they were the same age, and Eddie was a little bit older. I don't know why I thought that, but that's kind of what I thought for a while. It was just kind of the vibe I got, and then finding out again that Ryan is 4 years older, made sense. And then again, consistently in fanfiction too, that's kind of what they write, is Eddie's a little bit older, at least in some capacity. Whether it's a couple months or a couple years, he's usually older in fanfiction. But it's a similar thing even with Eddie's sisters, and whether he's the oldest or youngest or middle child. I thought that in the show it was explicitly confirmed that Eddie was the oldest, and it's not. Granted, we've never even seen his sisters, so as far as we're concerned, they don't even exist, but I legitimately thought that it was explicitly canon that Eddie was the oldest brother of 2 sisters. I thought he was the oldest, which, for me, personally, everything that I've seen about Eddie, and whenever I watch the show, it seems like he plays the role of the oldest daughter. He is given the role that oldest daughters are given. Similarly to how Dean Winchester gets that role in Supernatural. He feels like a character being written as the oldest daughter, the one who had to raise their younger siblings, you know what I'm saying? I'm a middle child now because I have a stepbrother who's 2 years younger than me, but growing up, I was the youngest of 3 kids, and the oldest was 10 years older than me. So she watched me when my parents were at work, and she drove me to school for the last, like, 2 years of high school for her. She drove me and my brother to school. Like, he is not a youngest child, in my opinion. Like, given everything that I know about him as a character and everything I know about how he grew up, he's not a youngest child. And we know for sure that he's older than at least one of them, because there is one of the stories, and again, this could be redacted because, like I said, the timeline doesn't make any fucking sense, but, like, there is a story about how he, at 13, tried to drive his mom's car to drive her to the hospital when she was pregnant. But as far as I was concerned this entire time, he was the oldest. And like I said, he's the oldest daughter. And people have even pointed out similarly, and this isn't really on topic, but like that Chris, by all intents and purposes, represent like a mother and daughter like dynamic. You know, their arc right now reminds me of like Merida and her mom's arc in Brave. Like, so yeah. To me, and you know, Buck is the youngest sibling who was raised by his older sister. So in their dynamic, it makes sense to me that Eddie is older, even though he might not actually be. Anyway, I don't know if this made any sense, and I think I'm completely off topic, so I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna go to bed, because it's almost 2 in the morning, and it's been a day. This probably didn't really answer your question, because there really isn't much of an answer to this question. It is different depending on the person. Everyone has different opinions, and because the timeline doesn't make any sense, my iPad fell, and so did the, Apple Pencil. Because there is no clear, concise timeline in the show, and no one knows, has any confirmation for how old anyone is, or what year it is, or when anyone's birthdays are, people just form opinions based on vibes. And especially in this fandom, I find people can't seem to accept that because there's no canon for this, you cannot be right or wrong here, and your opinion is not more correct here. That's a common thing I find in this fandom. Is people have headcanons, and then people are like, no, it doesn't match my headcanon, or my headcanon directly contradicts yours, so you're incorrect. And I know I talked in this video saying, like, oh, specifically for me, I want to clarify, like, I think that Eddie is older than Buck, and I think that Eddie is an oldest sibling, is, like, the older sibling, and he has 2 younger siblings. This is not explicitly canon, so I could be wrong, and if you have a differing opinion, that's totally fine. This is how I view the situation, but again, there's no canon, so it doesn't actually, like, matter, because if they haven't cared enough to make it canon, it's actually just not that important. These are just the vibes that I get based on my personal experience. It's like, the whole, like, who is older is also, like, kind of goes hand in hand with the whole top and bottom discourse with Buck and Eddie, which I don't even get me started on. It, like, just have fun. Stop arguing with people over things that aren't canon, and probably never will be. Just go with the vibes, and if people don't agree, oh well, it's fine. I need to sleep.
That's not fair. That is precaution.
I mean, I still remember the scene where Jack woke up Dean for the first time, and Cass was like, no, Jack, and then Dean pulled a gun on him. It's like he's an angry sleeper, like a bear. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say something, and then I can't remember. Oh, right, I was gonna say, like, him being like, you can't take the job home like that. Yeah, that's that, and of course the fact that Dean mentions that he wanted to be a firefighter. One of those things that it's like, a lot of the times I don't like modern AUs or like regular world AUs. Supernatural, I'm a sucker for a firefighter Dean modern AU. Always. The Graveyard Shift, Playing with Fire. I actually have been reading the book that Playing with Fire got turned into, Fire and Ice. I'm almost done it. I started it yesterday. If you're under 18, don't look it up. Don't look at either of those fics or that book up. Playing with Fire is a firefighter Dean AU, and then, yeah, Paramedic Cass, very good. But yeah, there's some really good. What was another one? Wasn't Exercise in Worthless? No, Exercise in Worthless was, he was a tattoo artist. There's another one that I was thinking of. Oh my god.
Forget-Me-Not Blues, I think, was another one. Yeah, Firefighter Dean. I feel like there isn't as many as there should be, but yeah, there's some good Firefighter Dean fics out there. And it makes sense both because of things like this and because he's canonically been like, I wanted to be a firefighter. Though, the Graveyard Shift was an urban fantasy AU and not a modern AU. So I wish there was more Firefighter Dean in, like, a fantasy universe type deal than, like, modern Firefighter Dean. But again, if you want to sell me on a supernatural modern AU, tell me Firefighter Dean, isn't it?
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond.
You know, I have a love-hate relationship with the way that demons became such a normal thing as the show progressed. Same thing with angels, because it was such a big thing when it happened. And, you know, of course, they end up being kind of buddies with the King of Hell, and with Cass, like, Cass is an angel that lives with them by the end of it all. But, like, I don't know, someone also pointed out that the production that went into making it clear that these things weren't human, even if they could look like humans, they kind of just stopped. So it felt like less of a big deal because, of course, they face bigger threats, and it's like, oh, it's a Tuesday. It is a Tuesday, actually.
It was the heat of the moment.
I know what an EMF meter is, but why does that one look like a busted up wall?
So that's what I made it out of. It's homemade.
I know that Sam is, like, the book smart one of the two of them, but, like, people often don't give Dean enough credit for how smart he actually is. What do you... He made an EMF meter out of a busted up Walkman. Come on. Such a good character.
I don't know, man. This isn't our normal gig. I mean, demons, they don't want anything, just death, destruction for its own sake. This is big.
Listen, I'm just stealing another joke from a meme that I've seen about this. I love watching this because all I think about is it's literally just a meme where it's the cutout of that scene being like, demons, this isn't our usual gig, and then a picture of them of, I think it's Dean and Crowley just out for drinks.
My own. Are you nuts? You said it yourself, the plane's gonna crash. Look, they can do it together, I can do this for myself. I'm not seeing a third option here. Come on. Really?
Yep, this is a good Dean episode. Last one was, this one is too, for different reasons, but this is a good Dean episode. It's, oh my god. I love him so much. Are you joking? Do I look like someone who's joking? Come on. Oh, I just love this. I do also like that Sam's testament. It's like, either we do it together, I do it on my own. I'm not seeing a third option here. Why do you think I drive everywhere? I love... Oh, poor Dean. Man. It's just crazy. I mean, like, why do you think he would think that? I don't know, Buck. Like, real Eddie, competition? He's straight. How is he competition? Buck, I'm not Tommy. Ask him. I just don't get it. Like, why does everybody want me to be hopelessly pining for my straight best friend? Who's everybody? I mean, Maddie asked if I was in love with him. Are you? That's exactly what she said. Okay. Are you in love with Eddie, Buck? He's literally straight, Robbie. Okay, and what if he wasn't? What do you mean? What if Eddie wasn't straight, Buck? What would your answer be then? Well, he is. That wasn't the question. So maybe that's why he viewed Eddie as competition. You just keep saying why you can't be with Eddie, not whether or not you have feelings for him. Those are different things. Okay, Eddie doesn't like men, so it's never gonna happen. Okay, Buck, being in love with someone doesn't automatically mean that they love you back. Yeah, I know that. So, what? What if Eddie wasn't straight? What would you have told Tommy if he was queer?
Look, Buck, I've known you for 4 years. I've known you and Eddie for 4 years. And the entire time we were hanging out, all you could do was talk about Eddie. I don't blame Tommy for wondering. And it's the fact that you won't deny that you have feelings for him, and the only time you seem to is after listing off reasons why a relationship with him wouldn't work, is kind of suspicious. So what if he wasn't straight, Buck? What then? Look, I don't even want to think about the leaks for 911 yesterday. We're not going to find out what it is, so I'm just going to try not to dread about what it could possibly mean. So instead, I just want to present you with the idea of buddy first kiss, but like the Harley first kiss in the Harley Quinn show. You know, how they, like, narrowly escaped death, and then, just in this emotionally charged moment, kissed, and then we're like, wait a fucking minute. Especially Buck as Harley, just like, I'm Buck. I'm crazy and impulsive, and I kiss people for no reason. And just, like, repeatedly bringing it up throughout the episode, and everyone's like, okay. I don't know, man. Everyone's like, oh, what do you want your first kiss, the buddy first kiss to be like? And people always, like, point back to straight first kisses in these live-action shows. And I get why, because, of course, we don't have a lot of, you know, queer first kisses to pull from. But the queer first kisses in, like, TV shows, especially in animated ones, are fucking incredible. Like I've said, the Catradora kiss for them, I could totally see it. Don't you get it? I love you, I always have, so please just this one stay. But I feel like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's first kiss in the show also would make total sense of just like, what? Wait, it didn't mean anything. And like I said, I could just see Buck going around like, I kiss people for no reason! And then just like, again, like the 118, just like with Harley's crew, where they're like, what is up with the kissing thing? Because it's like almost similar to when Chandler kissed Monica in front of the rest of his friends and then went and kissed everyone, because he was like, what the fuck do I do? But it's just more like crazy chaotic, like when it was Harley and she just went around kissing people and just yelling about how she kisses people for no reason. So it'd be like a kind of a mix of those two things. Yes, feel free to use this for a fanfic idea if you guys want. And if you haven't watched Harley Quinn yet, go do that. It's incredible. I know that when you're drawing, you have to make bad drawings to eventually get better at it. Doesn't change the fact that I hate being bad at things when I start off. I know I'm never going to be good at drawing wings unless I keep drawing wings. It doesn't mean I don't hate it. I'm trying to figure out anatomy. Why must I do this? This is just a reminder that pretending like your problems don't exist and just like shoving them aside for you to deal with at an undetermined time that you're ready to deal with them isn't going to help you process it, and it most certainly doesn't mean that it's gonna wait for you to be ready to deal with it. No, it just means after one off day you might sit and cry for an hour while you're eating mashed potatoes. And I wouldn't recommend that. So, process your feelings. Even if they're feelings about things you wish weren't happening. Mashed potatoes and tears do not mix well. They just don't. Listen, my way of going about life is often like, I don't know if I necessarily believe in insert thing, but I also don't want to tempt fate. So, like, fanfic author curse was an interesting thing for me, because I was like, well, I want to write fanfic. It took me a while, though, because I've had so many issues with writing over the years. So, finally, this year, I wrote my first fanfic that I posted, and I was like, it's not great, but, like, I want to do it as writing practice anyway. I haven't written fanfic since then, and frankly, I'm afraid to, because when this happened, okay, the entire shit show of my day the next day was that I got locked out of my car when there was nobody home, and it was minus 25 degrees Celsius out for 20 minutes, only to have to order an Uber, and then to find out that I had just been getting the garage code wrong because I couldn't get in any other way. Still was on time for work some way, somehow. But then during that whole ordeal, Uber wouldn't let me cancel my Uber, and then I was charged for it, and then I lost my AirPod, which I did have to get replaced, and then my parents came home, and my stepdad found it and gave it to me, and I had just put in the replacement one, so that was over $100 down the drain. And then I proceeded to find out that my grandma had been in the hospital for like a week from my mom. She was in there for a month. I went and visited her with my partner, so my partner was meet her. Great. Awesome. She almost died. We legitimately thought she was gonna die. So, I want to mention, my grandma has cancer, lung cancer specifically. Doctor said she had about 2 years left, but then she got pneumonia, and that's why she was in the hospital, and then it looked like she might fucking die. The reason she got pneumonia might have been because of the chemo, and so that's you. Anyway, she seems okay-ish now, but that happening right after I posted my first fanfic was like, oh god. And then I found out, like, this was like later, but still, like, Jesus Christ, is this just like a ripple effect? I don't know. One of my friends also has cancer and has a year left. They're literally not even 30. That's pretty crazy. So I am going to the States to visit them in the summer for that. So that's okay. And then my sibling's dad. Now here's the thing. This was already gonna happen. We already knew this. My sibling's dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer over the summer. So this is like not related, but also he was given a year at best. He's not a candidate for chemo, but they're doing it anyway to try to buy him time. And so I live in Alberta. He moved to Ontario because he has family in Ontario to be taken care of by his sister. Now, yes, he's my sibling's dad, not technically mine, but I did live with him for 9 years, and he helped raise me, and I've known him my entire life. He helped me get my adult passport because he used to work for an airline. I bought his car off of him. He was selling it, so he gave it to me. A 2010 with low kilometers for $3,500. The best deal like I could get on a car that good, probably ever. He is a family member in all intents and purposes. He came to Christmases and birthdays. He was a father figure. Anyway, so he moved, and he's not coming back. The last time I saw him was on Tuesday. He left on Friday. Last Tuesday, I guess. It's been a week. If he's still alive, but I am having to process grieving him now, which fucking sucks. So anyway, all that is to say is, like, now, I feel like something is just gonna get worse if I write fanfic, because, like, what the actual fuck? And with that specifically, just kind of looming over my head, just kind of, like, waiting. We know what's gonna happen, but, like, fuck. I just am like, what if I post a fanfic and then I know it's like stupid, but also like literally what the actual hell is fanfic author curse? Is it crazy coincidences? Is it real? I don't know. I don't like tempting fate though. So all it is to say though, this is my semi-humorous way of giving you guys an update of what the hell's happening in my life and why, yeah, things have just been a lot. And I literally posted like a week ago now, I guess, about having a legitimate realizing that did I post about this? No, I talked about crashing out so hard that I only slept for 3 hours over Buddy. Yeah, so then I also ended up doing some research, and turns out was going through a manic episode for 2 weeks. Because I'm a chronic overworker, and especially when there's a lot of things in my life that I need to address, like, emotionally, Instead I just like pile on things to work on, so I'm being productive, so I feel like I'm accomplishing things. It's like legitimately a habit I started when I was in high school. I was having panic attacks every single day, multiple times a day, but I felt like I was doing something right because I couldn't sleep. So I just took all that and channeled that into studying. It was crazy. It was also the best I ever did in school, and I historically have never done well in school. So, not a great thing in general, but, you know, after literally crashing out so hard about fucking Buddy that I didn't sleep for, you know, but I barely slept, which sometimes I've noticed the last couple years I specifically have like something akin to a manic episode where I don't sleep for 3 days. That didn't happen this year. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but it happened multiple times around January. So all that is to say is after just, and again, I've been aware that manic episodes were things that I could experience because reasons there's been, you know, my doctors have been like, you probably have bipolar, lol. Don't have a diagnosis, but like, I never actually like did research. I did a little bit, but not a lot of research on what manic episodes were. And after everything happened, I looked it up, and it was literally a textbook manic episode. So I was like, well, that sucked, and I know that this happens multiple times a year, so maybe I should, like, figure out ways to, like, prevent this, or reduce the severity of them. I don't know how mania works, but of course, the first thing that comes up is, like, manage it through, like, taking care of your mental and physical health, you know, getting the right amount of sleep, having a consistent routine, and I am well aware that that is a thing that I need in general, so I've been getting better at it. I've been sleeping around the same times and getting up around the same times, and I'm trying to be consistent about it. But as a result of doing this, suddenly repressed emotions, probably also repressed memories, are like, hey, you need to deal with these right now. So, anyway, I cried 5 times yesterday. Anyway, fanfic author charismatic episodes. Bobby Nash might be dead. I legitimately don't know how I'm gonna deal with that if it happens. So 911, by the way, don't do that. I'm mourning a father figure. Don't make me mourn Robert Nash on 911. Don't make me mourn father of the 118 Robert Nash. I cannot do it. I don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with this shit. I'm trying to go out and touch grass, okay? Like, I cannot be sent to a depressive episode because of the fucking wee-woo show. I've already dealt with, like, a spike in a manic episode because of Buddy. Like, don't. I'm trying to go out and touch grass. I don't want to be so sad that I can't leave my house unless I need to. Like, what the fuck? I've actually made plans to, like, hang out and leave my house more. Believe it or not, because I've been very isolated the last little bit for a number of reasons. I don't know what this video is. It's an update. Definitely. And an overshare on the internet. But you know what? It's okay. Because shit happens, and sometimes being a dumbass on the internet about it helps.